I'm rattled. I realized I had dropped my knife. I had a little pocket knife.
With an open knife in hand that Blake says fell out of his pocket.
As you just heard, Jacob Blake himself admits to having a knife. This makes him armed. How did the media report it? Well, the fine reporters at CNN and April Ryan didn't care to do any investigative work and just reported that Jacob Blake was unarmed. From the beginning, the police were saying that Jacob Blake was armed, but the media chose to ignore these inconvenient facts. I'll continue to play clips from Michael Strahan's Good Morning America interview with Jacob Blake, and you will hear contradictions in the interview. Michael Strahan will state that Jacob Blake claims he didn't have a weapon, but later Jacob Blake himself admits he had a knife and he knows he shouldn't have picked it up.
Struggle follows. Police believe Blake is reaching for a weapon more than once. Blake denies this. Police deploy a taser multiple times. Blake pulls the taser prongs out of his skin. Officer Shesky and Blake end up in a physical altercation on the ground.
I'm rattled. I realized I had dropped my knife. I had a little pocket knife. So I picked it up after I got off of him because they tased me and I fell on top of him.
With an open knife in hand that Blake says fell out of his pocket, he walks around the front of the vehicle towards the driver's side door. What are you thinking at that point?
I'm not really worried. I'm walking away from them, so it's not like they're gonna shoot me. I shouldn't have picked it up, only considering what was going on. At that time, I wasn't thinking clearly.
You were thinking once you get the knife into the car, you were going to just say,
throw myself to the ground and, put my arms behind my back. Because if they did it there and they killed me there, everybody would see it.
According to the Wisconsin Criminal Investigative Report, Officer Shesky says that Blake drove the knife towards Shesky's body. Blake denies this. Blake opens the car door, and at that moment, Officer Shesky grabs the back of Blake's shirt and starts shooting. According to records released in the Wisconsin Criminal Investigation Report, in the past, Blake has been arrested for attempting to flee police and for resisting arrest. These charges were dropped. There are critics who are going to say, well, he's had run-in with the law in the past. He doesn't deserve any sympathy.
If you're a black person in America and you're not perfect, then they say, oh, it was justified. It's like our children have to be angels.
This is Democrat governor of Wisconsin's response to the shooting of Jacob Blake. Without waiting for any facts, he immediately released a divisive statement siding with Jacob Blake and his family and assuming the cops acted unjustly. He also accused cops across America of mercilessly shooting black men, which incited BLM activists to riot and destroy businesses in Kenosha, Wisconsin. When the decision was made not to charge the police officers with shooting Jacob Blake, instead of using his platform to explain the legal reasons why the officers were not charged, he issued another statement condemning the decision and wrongly stating that justice was not delivered.
With this senseless attempted murder that was committed on him, they shot my son 7 times. 7 times. Like he didn't matter. But my son matters.
If your son mattered to you, you should have taught him right from wrong. Should have taught him not to abuse women to the point where they have to call the police on him. Should have taught him common sense not to endanger his own children by fighting with police officers in front of them. If you would have given him the talk, then he should have known not to fight with officers and to just comply.
What I saw in that video makes me sick. Once again, a black man, Jacob Blake, has been shot by the police in broad daylight with the whole world watching. I spoke to Jacob's mom and dad, sister, and other members of the family just a little bit earlier. And I told them justice must and will be done. Our hearts are with his family, especially his children. It's horrible what they saw. Watching their father get shot. Like Gianna Floyd, they're asking why? Why daddy?
I'll take this one, Joe. Kids, daddy was shot by police because the police were called on him by mommy. He has a documented history of sexually abusing your mother. We're supposed to believe women when they accuse men of sex crimes. If daddy would have complied with the officers, the outcome would have been very different and daddy would still be able to walk. But because he refused repeated de-escalation attempts by the police and ignored lawful commands, police had no choice but to shoot him when he reached for his knife, which he admits he had. Let this be a lesson, kids. Don't commit crime, and you'll avoid conflict with the police.
Put yourself in the shoes of every black father and black mother in this country and ask, is this what we want America to be? Is this the country we should be?
I seem to remember that black people were still being shot when you were vice president. And do I think America should be like this? Yes. Officers have the right to defend themselves from violent criminals. Where's the controversy here? When you verbally excuse criminal behavior, but reality comes in and punishes the criminal, you cause a disconnect, and you will lead more young people to commit crime and wonder why they're being punished for it. I hope America continues to remember who the real victims of injustice are. If you like this content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share.